Hello there, I'm Joey DeAngelis, your host for Silent Links, the series where I analyze films by filmmakers and actors who were once famous in the silent era but must now deal with the mysterious new challenge of talkies. Today's film, since I'm reviewing Cooper and Schoedsack's documentary drama, Grass, I will be discussing one of their films that isn't quite as famous as King Kong, however, is still a film that deserves discussion in its own right. 1932's The Most Dangerous Game, based off of the Richard Connell's story of the same name. You have the hunter Rainsford, played by Joel McCrea, who kind of was washed ashore on this mysterious island run by General Zaroff, played by Leslie Banks, who's apparently the greatest hunter ever. But there is one challenge that this hunter wants to face more than anything else, and that is the challenge of hunting man, or as he likes to call it, the most dangerous game. Now, this Blu-ray I have right here is from Flicker Alley, and this Blu-ray is, in picture quality, is rather good. The disc itself is a bit expensive, in my opinion. It also includes the film Gal the Headhunter, and it also has a audio essay on the film, a commentary track, rather, and another supplement, which was an interview with Marion C. Cooper. So, why does this film deserve discussion? Well, it was made around the same time as King Kong, while they were prepping for Kong, because partly because the animation took so long, the special effects, and a lot of pre-production work. So what they would do was they would film Most Dangerous Game also as sort of a simultaneous production, using similar sets, the same sets as Kong, and the music, and some of the same actors even. For example, Robert Armstrong and Fay Wray both appear in this movie. Robert Armstrong is not really given the greatest character. He's kind of an alcoholic, loser who just gets killed off. Spoiler alert. But, it's fine enough for the role. Fay Wray, I think, is, alright in her role. She's the damsel in distress, essentially. Also, another Kong character, two more interesting Kong characters. Steve Clemento, or Clemente. I've seen it spelled and pronounced both ways, but he's most famous for being a knife thrower, but he was also the witch doctor in King Kong. And we have Noble Johnson in this film, who plays the native chief in King Kong. However, we have two real amazing standout performances in this movie. One of them being from Joel McCrea as Rainsford. I think he's rather good in the movie, and I think he's a criminally underrated leading man. He's an average looking dude, but he works in this role, this character who likes hunting, and then his love of hunting is put to the test when he's up against General Zaroff, of course, who really steals the show as this, played by Leslie Banks, who really steals the show here. And what's so incredible is that his face is a weird look to it. Part of it's his eye is weird, and the side of his face looks deformed, as if it's something like a stroke happened to it. But actually, that's not makeup or anything. It happened in real life. He was a World War I veteran, and because of a gas attack, part of his face, kind of has a weird look to it. So sometimes he looks very debonair and suave, but when you look at him like this, or when you see his face, he looks rather intimidating. Also, the dogs that Zaroff uses to chase down our main heroes were actually the property of Harold Lloyd, if I'm not mistaken. And they're Great Danes. And the thing is, Great Danes are big dogs, but they're not frightening looking. They're a more frightening looking dog than Great Danes, even though the Great Danes are big. So they had to darken up the Great Danes' fur to make them more intimidating, and Harold Lloyd was not pleased with that. Of course. Other interesting things, the music by Max Steiner from Kong is also used in this film, interestingly enough. And this movie was released in 1932, a full year before King Kong, and because of the fact that this was a lower budgeted movie, it technically made more of a profit than Kong because of its lower budget. Kong was, of course, a big budget, but made a lot of money. Very successful film, but, because of the way the budget and the, thing worked out, this technically, came out with technically more of a profit in terms of the percentages and all that stuff. Also, what I really find fascinating with this film is there's some really creepy imagery, especially when you go to Zaroff's like main lair area. They find some really creepy heads in jars, and it's genuinely disturbing and creepy, especially if you're watching this like really late at night. There's a lot of hunter like sexual imagery, like you have like the centaur beast carrying the damsel, and Zaroff's line about hunting and like it was a great passion, like and you do it like before lovemaking or something to that effect. I think it's a great little movie, and not just that, but it's an hour long. Most movies today are like 2.5 hours, or at least when you go to like you go to your multiplex, see Transformers 4 or X-Men or Spider-Man and all these other titles, and it's like, oh my god, these things are going to be forever. This movie's like an hour. It's get you in and out. Could have been played as like a double feature or something. So I would definitely recommend this title. This movie's probably available on the public domain on YouTube somewhere. Also, there's a Criterion disc for it, but it's not a Blu-ray or anything. It's an old DVD with a commentary track by Bruce Eder and a really horrendous looking cover. But either way, if you're a fan of Kong or Marion C. Cooper, Chodzak, or like action adventure films from like the early 30s, this film was a must, and I would definitely check it out. And also tomorrow on Silent Film Saturday, I shall be checking out their film Grass. See you guys later.